And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate. We want to help you win in any marketplace. When we talk about any marketplace, we're referring to 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. 50 plus show partners, on air 7 years, helping you understand your buying decisions. Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. 813-750-0550. 813-750-0550. That's our hotline. You can call or text that line anytime. You can also hit us up on the website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled, we vetted, and we bring on the show to help you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to give a shout out to one of our newer show partners, Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. She does a great job cleaning our real estate properties, and she would love to clean yours, residential or commercial cleaning. And they're also COVID-19 certified for infection prevention and control. And that's a big deal. Follow her on Facebook at Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning as well. And reach out to our hotline. We'll put you directly in touch. All you have to do is text cleaning to 813-750-0550, our hotline, the 813-750-0550. Call or text that line. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning, the official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And a couple of hot property listings. As you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team. We're a top 1% ranked team in Tampa Bay, and we'd love to talk to you about some of our hot listings. This one just hit the market, 2528 APPALOOSA Trail, Palm Harbor. Just under $500,000 price tag on this beautiful home. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3-car garage, pool home right here in a great area in Tampa Bay. Palm Harbor, one of the most sought after destinations and addresses in all of Tampa Bay. 2528 APPALOOSA Trail here in beautiful Palm Harbor. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got our friend Brandon Faust back in studio, Mold Zero. Welcome back, man.
Thank you very much for having me. Love coming to the show and talking to your audience.
Absolutely, yeah. So right now, it's an interesting time in the market. You know, of course, it's an election year, so there's all this stuff going on. But
don't get me started, Brandon.
I know,
don't
right? I see some of your posts. I love it too, man. You're right on point with a lot of that. Breaking it down for the homeowners here, mold is a silent killer. Sometimes I think one of the most powerful stories you've told before is even it affected you personally, other people that you've known. Sometimes people have these mysterious, they don't know why they're getting sick. They don't understand. It's not visible in a lot of cases, right, to the naked eye. But mold is that silent killer.
100%. And I actually brought to the studio today some actual science and evidence in terms of the numbers.
Great.
Right? Because we were actually helping a local church, a Presbyterian church here, and we gave them a really, really good deal on that just because of, the type of work that they're doing. But the numbers speak for themselves, right? So I actually have the air samples because I wanted to run a bit of a test to see what it looked like throughout the entire process in addressing this. So one of the things that we had here was their outside air samples, because you always want to do outside air samples when you're looking at your air quality, because you test the outdoor air compared to the indoor air quality.
Right, okay. Right?
That's one of the sort of factors that you want to take into consideration. So there definitely was a serious situation outside, 23,000 spores. This is Florida. That's not surprising. That can come into your home or into your commercial property. Okay. But when you compared their inside numbers to their outside numbers, although they were lower, they were extremely high in one particular type of mold called Penicillium aspergillus. That's a dry mold, and it grows with humidity over 60%. So outside it was 250 spores of that, and inside it was 6,000. Now, this particular church was actually covered because of their not congregating and not meeting, they didn't have their AC being used like they normally would because of the shutdowns.
Makes sense, yeah.
And not congregating. So when they came back in, they literally had a white green film on everything. All the pews, all the Bibles, everything. Okay. Their sound system was just had a film. It was just growing.
Wow.
So when we did the air sample, it came back with 6,000 per cubic meter. Okay. That's, 3 foot by 3 foot, 6,000 spores. 6,000 spores in a 3 by 3 area.
Wow.
Okay. Now, when we started the process, 3 minutes into doing the mold zero fogging, their spore count went up to 860,000 per cubic meter.
Wow.
This is 3 minutes into doing the fogging. So I've said, look, don't spray it with bleach. Don't attack mold. It's going to attack back.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened here.
Wow.
Okay. So you're talking about a level which, if you're in that amount, 860,000, that's going to make you really sick.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So obviously all of our guys are in full protective equipment, full respirators, etc. We knew it was going to be that kind of a job. Right. So, and then going further into the treatment, after we were all said and done, we brought it down to 4,500. Now that's the first phase. Okay. So we've left air scrubbers in there for over the weekend, and we're now actually treating it again today. And we're going to get those numbers to below 1,000. Wow. Right. Really, where I want to be is closer to under 500 for people that are sensitive on the Aspergillus penicillium.
Yep.
And if it was in a containment zone, it would actually be under 200. If it
What's
was
a containment zone?
Like if it was airtight and it was, you had plastic off and there was nothing getting in. But this is the entire building, so people can walk in and out. So we're doing a sanitization job. We're not doing a full traditional remediation where you would put it under containment, negative air, and everything else, right?
Wow.
So those numbers, when you're doing sanitization, you're looking for a dramatic reduction.
Right.
When you're doing an actual traditional remediation, there's exact numbers you have to get under.
Interesting.
Right. And on top of this, we did air scrubbing. We did the vacuuming with the very detailed vacuums. And we also did the damp wipe of everything. And we had to, get rid of the porous material. And unfortunately, some of the, contents in there were not the type of things that you want to throw away, but that had to be done.
Wow. Yeah.
But it just can go to show how expensive it can be if you don't have your humidity settings correct.
Right.
You get these guys that are coming back, from being up north. They have had their AC off or at a high setting. I had one client just call in recently because he had been gone for a couple months because of COVID, and the AC wasn't working correct. And he ran into that exact same situation. And his solution, go spray it with vinegar. What do you think happened there?
Spread it.
Yeah. Started
fighting back, like you said.
Exactly.
We're talking with Brandon Faust here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Moldzero.com. Check him out online. Moldzero.com. Now, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When that church, we went through the COVID-19, can't go to church, can't go outside, lockdown, all the, stuff that we went through. Again, in my opinion, yours is very similar in a lot of these regards. I think we overshot it. It was a lot of media hype, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that church, they just turned the AC off altogether? Or did they run it at too high of a...
Too high. It was like 82 degrees.
So it should have been more like a 78.
The temperature is actually not the most crucial thing. It's the actual amount of water that's in the air. It's the humidity.
Right.
So more than anything, that's what you want to monitor. You could have it at 85 degrees as long as you're running a DQ, right? Some people don't want it cold,
Yeah.
Like some of, the people that are elderly clientele, they may not want to run it at 75 degrees. They may like it warm.
Yeah.
But if they're doing that, they have to make sure that water level stays down, that humidity level stays down.
Yeah.
Because you can wind up, and I've seen it, homes where they're actually living in the home and it's covered in mold. And they don't even see it. They don't see the film. They don't see the green-white colonization because it is microscopic. Obviously, with the trained eye, it's easy to see.
Right.
But if you're seeing it with the naked eye, you're way past the point you want to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, when we talked before, when we come back, I want to talk to you a little bit more about some of these different scenarios where it's played out into a home. It's by the by the bed and the person sleeping. I know we've had a couple of those different types of stories, and what to look out for. What are some telltale signs of what to look out for when you may have mold in your home or office?
100%.
We're going to talk with Brandon Faust on that. Plus, we have our feel good story of the day coming up. We got people of Papua New Guinea donate $61,000 to Australia bushfire victims. So our feel good story of the day is a good one. And we've got a great lineup for you today as well. We got Fred Defelice coming in studio later as well. We're going to talk about all that you want to know about water, the water supply, what's in it, some of the chemicals that are in it, some of the different things that are finding their way into our water system. So we're going to talk about waterscience.us coming up as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We appreciate you hanging out with us, spending some time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And that's one of our most valuable assets these days, of course, is our time. So we really appreciate that you chose to tune into the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to make it worth your while as well and make sure we deliver this great content to you every single day right here, 4 o'clock drive time, 860 The Answer. Got a weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone. We're getting bonus hour plays as well on Saturday mornings on AM 860 The Answer as well, in case you didn't know. And you can also see all of our content on our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty, and then also Apple, Amazon, Roku, Sony TV, 85 different outlets. So if you're on your smart television device and you'd like to pull up our shows, search Binge Networks, and you can find us there as well. 4207 South Del Mabry is a great opportunity for a real estate buyer. I know it's a tight inventory right now. People are looking for inventory. We've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property at 4207 South Del Mabry Highway, Unit 1203 in Tampa. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, end unit condo, Grand Key community, condo community. You also have a beautiful pool and a great area right here in the shopping area as well at 4207 South Del Mabry Highway in Tampa Bay. A great buying opportunity as well. Check out 6417 Yvette Drive in Hudson. This is a gorgeous waterfront opportunity. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. You got 1-car garage, but most importantly, you got a beautiful dock with bay access. Bring your boat. Just listed. Great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. 6417 Yvette Drive in Hudson and Pasco County. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, this segment's brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving, whether you're planning a local, interstate, packing, junk hauling, office move, we've got you covered. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I did a FaceTime call with one of my sellers the other day. Just pulled up a FaceTime. I had Brothers Easy Moving on the other side, and I was saying, okay, here's what they have in the kitchen. Here's their cabinets. Here's the different rooms. And they were able to give an estimate right over the FaceTime call, the Zoom call as well. So talk about being COVID compliant right there. All right, we got Brandon Faust in studio. Indoor air quality. We talk about mold, moldzero.com. I love those success stories where you've helped people get better. They were feeling sick. They went to their doctor. They said, you know what? We've kind of eliminated all these other options. Let's get you checked out for mold.
100%. I mean, the thing that you have to think with is that you're taking in a foreign substance, right? These spores are microscopic.
Yeah.
You can fit 10 mold spores on the tip of a hair. So you really shouldn't be seeing them. I mean, on these samples that I have here, I mean, they literally have, the actual raw count, 1,605 on a little cassette. It's not like you can see that with the naked eye.
Wow.
So imagine you're breathing this in constantly.
Yeah.
And not only are you breathing in the spores, this particular type of mold, Aspergillus, has mycotoxin, a poisonous gas that it releases to defend itself that has been linked to a number of serious physical issues.
Right.
Okay. And you can look at Great Plains Laboratory, their mycotox profile that talks about the types of stuff that it's been linked to. We're talking about dementia, cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. I mean, we have some serious issues that can be coming from a poisonous substance that you're breathing in. You don't even know about it, and you might not even necessarily see it.
Right.
So that's why it's not something that you want to mess around with. This is why our guys are in the protective equipment.
Yeah. And I know a lot of times in real estate properties, the properties that are dilapidated a little bit, they may have some water damage. They've got a caved in roof, air conditioning, leaky pipe. Those types of issues bring higher returns on investment for people that are buying real estate properties. And I see people walk into them all the time, and you can tell there's mold in there, but they're without a mask, maybe these days they have a COVID mask, but in the past, that's not a very safe thing to do either.
And truthfully, I've done it. I'm guilty, right?
Yeah.
I have gone into homes not really thinking that there was much of an issue, and walked out, 30 minutes later with a migraine headache.
Yes, exactly.
And going, what's going on?
Yeah.
But the point is not to be afraid of it, right? It's to know that it's there, to know that yes, it does cause issues, to look into it if this is something that may be resonating with you as a potential problem.
Yeah.
Find out and then do something about it. It doesn't always require demolishing your home to fix it. If it's humidity related, a lot of times it's surface. Like, for example, when we treated the church, we're not doing any sort of tear out, with the high humidity. Now, on the reverse end of it, they did have a water closet that did have the Stachybotrys, the black mold. Now, that's the type of stuff that you do have to actually tear out and remediate. So we are doing that on that particular type of mold, So
Okay.
you have to look at what types are there and how you handle each particular type. And how much is there?
Yeah. So do you have your own crews that come in and know how to professionally remediate,
Oh,
remove?
100%. 100%. Yeah. Our guys are totally trained in traditional remediation.
Turnkey operation, moldzero.com. We're talking with Brandon Faust here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. What else do you think people should know? I mean, of course, this show, what we love to do is kind of give folks the idea of, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's the next step to take. What else do you see as maybe a next step for people?
I think that probably the most important takeaway is get your home tested. If you're going to buy a new home, get it tested. If you're going to sell a home, get it tested.
Yeah.
Make sure that the person doing the inspection knows what to look for, and that they're not just kind of like going, oh, that's not toxic mold, it's nothing to be concerned about. Because I've heard that all the time. Oh, it's not black mold, it's no problem. Guess what? There's 3 categories of mold: allergenic, pathogenic, and toxic. Do you want any of those in your home?
Right.
Right. And we're also talking about numbers. Some are safe and some are not. So every home in Florida is going to have some mold. Zero question about it. Okay. Is it normal fungal ecology, or is it elevated, mildly elevated, or highly elevated?
Yeah.
Right. So there are numbers that you have to think with in terms of what's safe and what's not.
Right.
But you want to find out. So get an inspector who really knows what they're doing. We do inspections as well.
Yep.
Okay. But we specialize in the remediation end of it. That's really what we like to do, because we do a whole home treatment. We do not believe in spot treatment.
Right.
We know that if you had a mold problem in one area, that the chances of it staying in that one area is pretty much zilch. That's not the way it works. It blows around the home. It get the mycotoxin spread around the home.
Yeah.
So we're going to treat the entire house on even traditional remediation. We'll put it under containment. We'll handle that, but we're also going to treat the rest of the house as well.
It's going to move through the HVA system,
Completely.
HVAC system. It's going to move around. And I think a big problem I see in Florida as well is as a lot of our inventory is aging. Even if it's a 7-8-year-old property, most likely more like a 10 to 15-year-old property, you're going to have fascia, soffit. You're going to have some issues potentially with roof components where water could potentially get in there. Once it comes in and penetrates that surface, then it's going to get into the drywall behind the stucco, and then you look at potential for big problems.
Totally. And it's not just older homes. It's not even homes that are 8 years old. I've had it where brand new builds, okay?
Wow.
There was one client who figured this out because he had a particular type of bug that only lived off of mold.
Really?
That was the only thing it ate was
What kind of bug was that? Do you remember?
I don't remember the name of it.
That's
but the
interesting.
guy, he actually brought it to a bug specialist, put it under a microscope. He says this only lives off of mold.
Wow.
And it was a brand new build in I don't want to say exactly where, but it was a fancy place.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he did a cut in his house near the actual nest of these bugs.
Yep.
And it was riddled with Aspergillus penicillium in the attic. It was growing all throughout there, right? And why? Because the materials that were built with were left out in the rain. So you get water,
Makes
organic
sense.
material, and oxygen. That's all it needs.
Wow. So when you leave it, then that's a big problem that you see, especially building during rainy season. If the rafter, or the rafters, the shingle, or whatever part of the property is left outside, it's going to get that dampness. It's going to have that wetness to it.
Yeah.
And that's, like you just said, that's all it needs to grow. And then also on the flip side, you had mentioned sometimes when you have to test, you might have to take a piece of drywall out, like you said, cut a square out, which can be patched later and caulked and sealed, etc. But you have to cut in sometimes to get behind it, right?
Yeah, if you're suspect that something's going on, but you're not seeing it and you've done a deep dive, and even on the air samples, because the air samples are only testing a cubic meter, right? So it's 3 foot by 3 foot. That's what it's testing for 5 minutes. So, but if you're like, I think this is mold, there's something going on, because that is what happened with me, is I was certain. I had done air samples. I looked in my house, right? And it actually wasn't until I popped the baseboards that I found the toxic mold behind the baseboards, and then the mold in 2/3 of my master bedroom. And it was the mycotoxin that was making me sick, not the spores. It was the actual poisonous gas from the 2 different types of molds fighting it out in my bedroom, right? So then in that case, yes, we did have to cut everything out. We patched the drywall, and then we did the mold zero treatment where we fogged the entire place with the non-toxic hydrogen peroxide commercial grade vinegar mix. And then that lingers long enough that it eats away the outer shell of the mold spore, and it also handles a mycotoxin. Then we do a damp wipe and then a HEPA vacuum afterwards, which is high efficiency particulate arrestor, very tiny particles. So we get rid of that stuff too, and we make sure the place is totally clean, free and clear.
Nice. Well, that sounds like the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Trying to use the least amount of chemicals. You mentioned vinegar. My wife loves to use the natural side of
100%.
of cleaning products, etc. We got about a minute left. Parting words of wisdom, Brandon?
Just make sure you know before you go. If you're going to buy a home, get it tested. We can handle it. It doesn't require tearing everything out. We're going to do the minimum amount of tear out as necessary. We like to look at ourselves more like surgeons rather than butchers.
Yep.
We're not trying to capitalize on the tear out. It's just what needs to be done. And make sure that your air quality is fantastic. You have this water guy coming in. I think that's great too. You want a healthy home.
Yep.
So make sure you have a safe space for you and yours, the people that you love. And, we're in Florida. There's a lot of things that can come with living here. It's hurricanes and mold.
Right.
And California, it's earthquakes and wildfire.
Yep.
So we'll take care of you at Mold Zero. So give us a call. Look at our website, moldzero.com.
moldzero.com. Brandon Faust, always a pleasure, my friend. Great job today. We appreciate you dropping those nuggets of advice. Excellent stuff right there. We encourage you to reach out, consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors there on our website as well. Coming up, we got Fred Defelice back in studio, waterscience.us. All you want to know about your water supply coming into your home. Good stuff coming up, as well as our feel-good story of the day. People of Papua New Guinea donate $61,000 to Australia bushfire victims. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. A couple of hot development opportunities for you. I'm gonna talk to you about two different property listings. Any builder developers out there, we would love to talk to you. Forward it to a friend if you see this information useful for one of your friends that might be a builder developer or just an entrepreneur looking for a different place to put money. The stock market has all these different problems and different things you see, like Enron type scams. 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O'Lakes, 8 lots. On Bell Lake, 5 of which are directly on the waterfront. This is a great opportunity to build and develop on a 90-acre ski lake in Land O'Lakes, 8 home sites, and the land has been cleared. It's level, 5 lots right on Bell Lake. You also have the entitlements in a already ready to go position with the county, approved position with the county as well. 12208 Four Oaks Road in Tampa. This is a great buying opportunity, another great investment opportunity here in Carrollwood area. This is one of the hottest areas in all of Tampa Bay. Carrollwood, Forest Lakes area. You got 5 acres that is ready to be developed in beautiful Tampa Bay at the crossroads of Four Oaks, Nixon Road, Gun Highway, right there at Del Mabry. Great opportunity. Attention developers, attention builders. You got great businesses surrounding it as well. Investment and infrastructure. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They're going to offer you the vitamin infusion drips, the Myers cocktail directly into your bloodstream. This way you are boosting your immunity and maintaining COVID-free. Science of nutritional balance, Replenish IV Solutions. All right, we got our friend Fred Defelice back in studio, waterscience.us. Welcome back, sir.
So happy to be here.
Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure having you in studio, and I appreciate your mission. You know, you're on a mission to help homeowners and business owners, for that matter, right? We can hook your waterscience.us system up to any type of building or facility. You're on a mission to help people have clean drinking water. Why don't you describe actually what your exact mission is, Fred?
Well, my real purpose is to educate the consumer. And the reason I love you so much is that's exactly what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I just have a passion about healthy water. I've been in the water industry, in the plumbing industry all my life practically, and I've seen things that really go wrong, and what can go wrong. And the big thing today, I was talking to one of my doctor friends. He says our immune system, keeping your immune system healthy, is so critical today with everything that's going on. And people just don't realize it. Your water has so much to do with that, right?
Absolutely.
If you're drinking chlorinated water, you're taking showers in chlorine, you're breathing this in.
Yep.
These are the things that'll affect you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things we do, as you know, my wife, Lindsay, she's vegetarian for many years. She's a pranic healer, energy healer, and feng shui in the real estate side, but very in tune to those. One of the things we do now to start, it's a type of a cleanse that she's been doing, liver detox, is we start off, first of all, with lemon water. The first thing you drink every morning, lemon water. So you're squeezing organic lemon into water, drinking it, flushing, and then also following that up with celery. So celery juice, juiced celery, cleaning the liver. It's all about cleaning the liver, because I've found out that a lot of ailments that we have are due to the liver not being clean. And my particular instance was high cholesterol for many, many years. So we'll see, hopefully that helps out. But it all starts with what you're putting in your body.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, the other thing I try to educate people about is the dangers of using water softeners and reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the only thing people have ever been told. You move here to Florida from up north, oh yeah, you need to get a water softener and an RO, reverse osmosis. Well, here's the dirty secret about that. Let's start with the water softener. It will make the water soft, and it does that by removing the minerals in the water. However, the minerals are the best thing you need to have, whether you're drinking it or on your skin. So the water softener takes out the minerals, makes the waters feel soft, but in the process puts salt in the water. Consequently, you don't want to drink that.
Wow.
So now you need reverse osmosis under the kitchen sink to take out the sodium. Well, now you've depleted everything, and you might as well drink distilled water. Years ago, we had to put distilled water in our batteries, right? But we don't want that in our system.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like the programming. How are people programmed over the years? What are they led to believe? And even, I was watching another documentary on a different subject, which is appalling to me. I've been doing more and more research on is the pedophilia stuff going on. There's about to be a big sting with a lot of big level people, high level people, or at least I hope it happens.
Hope so.
But anyways, that's a whole separate deal. But I've been doing a lot of research, and even in that documentary, it talked about the fluoride, which you brought up before as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fluoride in the water.
It's the worst thing going.
No need for it.
No.
And they put it in there.
It's actually detrimental.
Exactly.
The fluoride that they put in our water is actually a waste product from the aluminum industry. It's so toxic, you're not allowed to bury it in the ground without special permitting. So somehow they found a way to put it in our water and say it's good. And this is what I do with people. Look up. I can send you all the links if you want. Get a hold of me. But you can just do your own research, and you'll find it out there.
That's the key. Do your research, and then I say, then the next step is, what information do you believe? because then you get into the info wars, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, which side, left or right. Where do you go for good information, Fred?
Yeah, we have the Water Quality Association. There's many things, NSF. You know, we have products out there that have to be proven, you know. And then we rely on independent testing. So our systems, many of the components have been tested unbelievably, you know. So we know what we have. And the other thing, we like everything simple, you know. Water softeners are complicated. They waste about 100 gallons of water a week. They require you putting salt. There's electricity. There's a little time clock. There's all things that can go wrong. And then your reverse osmosis system under the sink, if you're not changing those filters once a year and sterilizing that little pressure tank, you just have nothing but bacteria growing there. So,
Wow.
And people don't know it. We maintain all our systems, so you don't need to call us. We know when we need to service your equipment. And for example, our whole house system requires maintenance once every 3 years. And our special under sink alkaline system only requires maintenance every 2 years. So our systems, you're not going to know, you're going to forget about it, but we won't. You know, we're going to take care of it.
That's a good tagline. Now, you mentioned a key word, alkaline.
Yeah,
Alkaline versus acidity.
that's correct.
Acidity versus alkaline. Can you expand on that, on what that means?
Yeah, what the doctors are telling us is that, for example, cancer cells cannot live in an alkaline body. So most people are acidic. You know, they're drinking sugary Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever. God forbid, I mean, what they're giving their kids to eat, most people. You know?
Simple carbohydrates, you know, and the difference, and sorry to interject, but the difference between a complex carbohydrate and a simple carbohydrate, a simple carb is something that's easily converted, it's broken down back into sugar.
Exactly.
So even though it looks like a tasty, fun snack and the kids love to get these things, it's not good for the kids. It's breaking down, and that's back to what it's doing to your bloodstream. It's creating acidity in the bloodstream,
Exactly.
and that's where the cancer cells not only survive but they thrive. You're actually feeding. Every time you give your kid a Mountain Dew, a Coca-Cola, or Dr. Pepper, whatever brand they like, you know, there's I forgot the exact amount of grams of sugar in there. It's amazing, 36 or 40. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But every time you do that, you're basically injecting sugar and fuel into these cancer cells that, and I've heard it said, we all have these cancer cells in our body. It's just
we do.
if we allow them to grow or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's not just the cancer cells. There's other things that go on, right?
Right.
So, I mean, more and more young kids now have, what do you call that? With the sugar? Diabetes.
Glycemic. Yeah, the glycemic index, you know. Diabetes. Yep.
Yeah. So we're ruining ourselves, you know. The other thing, look at this is the world we live in. Most people know how bad their water is coming out of their faucet, you know, but they ignore it.
Yeah.
Right.
They ignore it for multiple reasons. Some of it's probably cost.
Yeah.
So we're gonna debunk that myth. We're gonna talk about some of the plastics. We haven't even talked about the microplastics in the water.
Right.
We're gonna talk a little bit more about what the problem is, but we're also gonna offer you a solution on the other side of this break. We've got a very cost-effective solution here, about $1 a day, I think it is, within a month. Stay with us here. We got more from Fred Defelice. He's our water expert, water quality expert here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Waterscience.us as well if you want to do more research as well. Fred back in the studio. Plus, our feel-good story of the day. We got a great feel-good story. People of Papua New Guinea donate $61,000 to Australia bushfire victims. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a big shout out to the Golf Cart Depot, the official golf cart partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And you can use them for recreation, business purposes. They've got the Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, Icon electric vehicles, pre-owned, remanufactured golf carts available from the Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay. Say hello to Marty and his expert team. They do a great job. Discovery Golf Carts, a.k.a. Golf Cart Depot. And they will come to you. So they have an opportunity to deliver directly to you or your office, your home. And then you can test drive a golf cart there. Big shout out to the Golf Cart Depot. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on the special offers that they extend to our radio and TV show family. Let them know you're a friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day. Today we've got a good one.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so more than 20 organizations in Papua New Guinea raised $61,000 to help Australia's bushfire victims. When Andy Thorpe heard his Rotary Club in Marabula being sent a donation from the people of Papua New Guinea to help bushfire victims, he was shocked to learn of the amount. He says, quote, "I thought there might be anything from a couple $100 to $1,000, but I was wildly wrong," Thorpe told ABC. Marabula is one of many towns in the New South Wales East Coast that is still recovering months after devastating bushfires in Australia earlier this year. In Papua New Guinea's second largest city, Shilaharo, saw photos of the destruction and was inspired to take action. We called on our neighbors to unite in one heart to give, to console our neighbor, and, quote, youth groups, churches, businesses, schools, and corporate houses, they all participated and gave their contributions in cash and kind. In total, they raised $61,000. So that's really cool. I love to see folks, no matter where they're at in the world, coming together, supporting other countries, supporting those with the bushfires and brush fires as well. And we've had our fair share of disasters here in Florida. I know that California had a bad round of bushfires out there in California. So we've got Fred Defelice here in studio. And talking about, the different things happening, microplastics in the waters. You got your plastic bottled water challenge as well. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of our slogans is never buy another bag of salt or bottled water again. And, most of us, you're on the road, a lot of us, and you're running into a convenience store and you're buying a bottle of water, right? It's about $1. So here's my challenge. If you're spending $1 a day on bottled water, you're already paying for one of our systems. With our financing, basically we have 12 months same as cash, or we have financing starting like 7% interest the first year for less than $1 a day. And the big thing with us, unlike water softeners where one size fits all, we have systems designed for every application specifically. So if you have a mobile home, we have a system designed for that, and the cost on that system is right around $1,600 compared to a $3,000 water softener, right?
Very nice.
If you have a condo, we have a system for that. If you have the normal residential home, 1,500 square feet, you're looking right around $2,100.
Yep.
If you have an estate size home, possibly you could be more like $35,000 or $4,000.
Yep.
But this is where we shine. We have the systems that are designed for the purpose.
Yeah.
And again, lifetime warranty, made in the U.S., and maintenance requirements are minimal.
Yeah, and how do you really assign a value, a monetary number to your health, to your family's health, to your young kids' health, to your infants' health, to maybe your mother-in-law who's staying with you, their health,
Absolutely.
Your family's health, and the microplastics in the water too. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a growing concern. There's more and more. We're seeing plastic everywhere. We're finding it in tuna, fish. We're seeing it in a lot of different places, Fred.
It's everywhere. The amount of plastic bottles that wind up in the ocean, all of that breaks down eventually. the tires on your car as you're riding down the road, that's spitting out microplastic particles, eventually winds up in the river. Anything that winds up in the river is coming in our drinking water, right? So as great a job as the municipalities do with their water department, they cannot handle the kind of stuff that it's incumbent upon us to handle when it gets to our home.
Are they pulling out some degree of the microplastics?
Oh, yeah.
Through like
well, their filtration
and,
an aeration process will do all that.
Yeah.
Listen, they can take sewer water and make it pure enough to drink, but they're not going to get some of the other things out of it.
Right.
And your body cannot assimilate plastic particles.
Right.
So they're minute, they're like less than 1 micron.
Yeah.
And that can fit in, slide through anything.
Right.
So particularly our under sink system that makes the alkaline water, it takes out the fluoride, the heavy metals, and the microplastic particles, and the pharmaceutical drugs.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
the pharmaceutical drugs, we talked about that before. There's so much, so much of that being flushed or just recycled through the body through, the natural processes.
Anything plastic is forever. It never goes away. So whatever we have in our environment, it's here.
Yeah. That's sad to say. It, and I haven't seen any recent news or stories. It seems like the media loves to just pump out COVID information right now. Yeah. But there's a pile of plastics floating out into the oceans, right? Is that still there? I'm sure it is, right? It's created.
Yeah, the way the currents run, it winds up in this one spot, and there's no end to it.
Right.
So.
That's interesting. Interesting to see. So let's make an offer then. Again, our show, we want to have a QAA formula. They're going to have questions. We're going to have answers. And we want to give you action items, something where you can really just kind of raise a hand and say, hey, I'd like to take action. I'd like to do something about it. Just text the word water to our hotline, and we'll put you in touch with Fred and his team. 813-750-0550. 813-750-0550. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Text water. Call, leave a voicemail. We'll get right back to you.
Absolutely.
And we promise to put you in touch with Fred Defelice, waterscience.us, and take him up on his offer. He got basically a zero cost for the first year in terms of financing, same as cash.
Correct. Yeah. And then it's a simple process. Just a phone conversation, 5 or 10 minutes. We can pretty much tell you what you're going to need in your home and what the cost is. We have upfront cost pricing. We don't send salesmen out to your home and then, convince you that you got to sign on the line today type of thing. Yeah. I'm not into that. I want to educate you. If you see the merit in what we have, then we can do business,
Yeah.
But it's your choice.
You'll actually do a test in their home as well. I think the truth, as you say, the truth sets you free. You've seen that over the years. It's informing. It can be inspiring as well.
Yeah. And we never want to tell you the bad news without having a solution. I mean,
right.
Our whole process is simple. It took years to get it to this point, but it's great. Everything works. So we're happy.
And I can tell you firsthand, we've got a system on our home, and I tell you, it was a great process. Fred was very thorough at explaining the process. We've had the best water. I mean, it's just great to have that water. Yeah. I got my YVETTE cups that I carry around, and drinking water in these things most of the time. And, we like to give our customers a glass bottle to use, so you're not depending on plastic bottles anymore. And that's about it. Right now, we're still offering that $500 trade-in for your old water softener. That's right. Okay, you got a $500 trade-in if you have a water softener system. Who, again, in case you missed it, it's the dirty secrets of water softeners and reverse osmosis. They waste water, so you're paying a higher water bill. You're doing bad to the environment. They're adding salt to your water, which is, we know it's not good. The sodium levels. And then it also removes all the good stuff. It's removing the minerals. So you get a $500 trade-in value. Right. Or we'll do free installation. So, or a free install. Yeah. You may not have a water softener. Don't let that dissuade you. Yeah. We'll give you that $500. Nice. Yeah. Waterscience.us and Fred at waterscience.us is the email as well. And I know from our listeners of the show, the folks that have reached out, everybody's completely satisfied. They love meeting you. They love the process, and they love the product.
Yeah, and they're happy that they heard about us on your show.
Absolutely.
So we're happy about that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. Just helping people understand, their buying decisions, real estate credit. We always say on the show, we want you to think about our show as the hub of your financial, your business, your health wheel.
Yeah.
And we've got all those different great expert contributors that represent all those different categories, everything from gun safety with Florida Firearms Academy, different types of attorneys on the show.
Yeah.
Our friend Fred Muth, Tampa Screens. We talk a lot about real estate and, helping people in all those different areas, Fred.
Yeah. And, plumbers really protect the health of the nation. So I always like to close if we're ready to close with something. Yeah.
That's right.
If you can read, thank a teacher. And if you can read in English, thank a veteran. And if you have an indoor toilet, thank a plumber.
That's right. So. That's excellent. That's good stuff right there. Kind of summarizes it all in a punch there as well. Yeah. So Fred Defelice, waterscience.us. Please support our local area businesses, our local expert contributors. Also, Brandon Faust on the earlier part of the show, moldzero.com. Yeah. Mold is a silent killer. So indoor air quality, water quality today on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks again. We appreciate you, Fred. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, pack up some food or clothing, do something, and be a force for good in the community. Donate some time, donate some blood. Lots of ways that you can be a force for good in the community. And follow us online. We would love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, Brandon Rhymes PA on Facebook, as well as the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time